Mike Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles lost out on their top-rated recruit in the 2025 early signing day period. When you go 2-10, changes are expected to be made, and most certainly on the coaching staff, and this time with Florida State moving on from former offensive line and offensive coordinator Alex Atkins. And Alex Atkins played a pivotal role in a lot of relationships, which we're going to get to here in a minute, but more specifically, this video is talking about a most recent interview with five-star offensive guard Solomon Thomas, who talked with the media at the Under Armour All-American game and spoke about his relationship with Alex Atkins, his commitment to FSU, and also Alex Atkins playing a hand in him flipping from the Seminoles to the Tigers. Let's listen in to the interview from Thomas.
I went to a practice and I asked my coach, my ex-coach at Florida State, about the offensive line coach at LSU. He's a great dude on and off the field. He'll take care of you, beyond the football aspect of it. And that's always been a guy who I've wanted to, play for.
So Alex Atkins had a hand in you ending up at LSU,
yes,
even
sir.
after he had you committed at FSU.
Mm-hmm.
What did that mean to you to get that advice from a guy who, obviously lost his job and thought he was going to coach?
Atkins became almost like a father figure to me, a father figure, a friend, somebody I can talk the Bible about, and it was nobody really like to replace him, really, or somebody I can just see replace him at Florida State because I was there for him. In any interview I've ever done, I've always talked about how Atkins was the reason why I wanted to be at Florida State, and he was the reason why I started to like Florida State in the first place.
So Thomas talking about the relationship with Atkins and also, too, his first intrigue in the Seminoles because of Alex Atkins. And there's no denying Alex Atkins and his recruiting talents. I mean, to be honest with you, I think he dipped over and helped out some of the other position group coaches to help and build some of the offensive players that they brought in either the transfer portal or in the recruiting class. But then more specifically, though, what he was able to do on the offensive line and bringing these guys in, he did a good job at it. I mean, he was really successful in what Florida State needed to do. And relationships is something that Atkins led his recruitments on. And you could see from Solomon Thomas, being completely transparent on it, talking about Alex Atkins. And two, once Atkins was let go from Florida State, Thomas, with his relationship with Atkins, talking with him, kind of being a father figure there, saying, hey, what LSU has with Brad Davis, which is their offensive line coach there for the Tigers, that would be the next best place for you. And to be honest with you, too, Florida State, I don't know, just depending on when that conversation was had, Florida State taking a little while there to find their next offensive line coach, which was eventually, of course, now Herb Hand, which we're going to talk about now, what Florida State's doing in the offensive line department, certainly in the transfer portal, but at the time didn't really know what the future held for Florida State at the offensive line department. So, I think Thomas, to me, I think a lot of people on social media talking about Alex Atkins and such, I think he's being pretty transparent and clear and truthful on the conversations that were had with the former offensive line coach. What is Florida State doing now, though, in the offensive line room? Well, they're bringing in a lot of SEC guys, a lot of experienced players. You've got a really talented center coming in as well, but they're finding guys that can play starting roles in this 2025 season. There's going to be a whole new handful, maybe more than one handful, two handfuls of starters on this offensive side of the ball, definitely on the defensive side as well with Florida State's new defensive coordinator, Tony White. But looking at the offensive line as a whole, Florida State bringing in Luke Pettibon, who is a really, really talented center that Florida State needs, because if you think about it, Maurice Smith has been with FSU since, 2010, it feels like. Maurice Smith has been around the program for a long time, but now he's moving on, and now Florida State needing a center. And one thing that, Alex Atkins, on the flip side, yes, really good on the recruiting side, building relationships, able to get guys committed and signed. Development, though, is something that was awful. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. You expected for some of these guys, 2-3 year guys, to come in and be able to be solidified starters for you. And that just wasn't the case. Too many question marks. I mean, we saw more younger guys this last season because you went 2-10. Fans were yelling at you to try something new, get a youth movement going, and try to see some of these youngsters in there, because some of your veterans, the guys that have been around the system for so long, were such a massive, massive letdown. I mean, we spent a lot of time this last offseason hyping up the offensive line. I mean, I think we might have marked them as a top 3 unit going into the 2024 season, and they were obviously the worst. I mean, it was awful, and it was just not a good unit at all whatsoever. Behind Atkins and even just game to game shuffling around offensive linemen, I just didn't see that Florida State was building any kind of chemistry on the offensive line, and chemistry plays a vital role in what an offense can do, and most certainly in the run game. And with Gus Malzahn coming in as Florida State's new offensive coordinator, there has to be chemistry at that O-line. But like I was just mentioning here, Gunnar Hansen coming in from Vanderbilt. He's going to be a one-year player as well. SEC level left tackle. He's expected to be your starter there. You got Micah Pettis from offensive line, 6'7", 360 pounds. He's going to be your right tackle, expected to be your starter there. And Adrian Medley coming from UCF, a good relationship there, obviously, with Herb Hand and Gus Malzahn. But yeah, I mean, Florida State is putting a lot of eggs in their basket for some one-year guys, some veteran guys, and they have to do a better job in the transfer portal, because you've had some guys in the transfer portal. I would say Richie Leonard, is expected, he's coming back for another season. He's going to be a starter on this offensive line. And, I feel like that was a win there for the FSU, obviously. But, you're relying on a lot of these veteran guys to come in and be able to build a chemistry, be able to communicate, and help this offense grow and get down the field with Thomas Castellanos. Florida State's now ranked number 7th nationally in their transfer portal class. But yeah, going back to Solomon Thomas and Alex Atkins, I don't think this is something where FSU fans need to get ticked off at Alex Atkins. I think, Thomas needed to make the right move for himself. And Florida State at the time still need to figure out what they're going to do as their offensive line coach. So let me know what you think about this. Let me know down in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. We've got a ton more videos coming for you, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified every time we release a new video. Thanks for watching.